All right. Yes. 50 scientifically proven ways to be persuasive by Noah Goldstein, Steve Martin, and Robert Cialdini. Okay. Yeah, there's 50 different chapters, right? Hey, your room. Go to your room. Goodbye. He can bark in his room. That's our agreement. You see? All right. So, okay. There's a lot of them. Which vaults unlock people's vaults? How can you become a Jedi master of persuasion? Let's see. Start low or start high. Which will make people buy? How to fight or how you can fight consistency with consistency. What's the best way to turn a weakness into a strength? Uh, How can technology impede progress? Does being sad make your negotiations bad? Okay, there's a whole bunch of these that are pretty decent. The one that caught my eye, if I can find it again. What's the best way to turn a weakness into a strength? Right? I'm always trying to transform myself to being a more efficient person. Right? So 110. All right. Suppose that one day you decide that you want to own 2 more copies of this book. Yeah, why not? All right. For a total of 3. 1 for home, 1 for office, and 1 for glove compartment of your car in case of emergencies. After you grab the last 2 copies of Yes off the shelf at the local bookstore and bring them to the checkout counter, you are taken back by something the clerk says. Are you sure you want to buy those books here? He asks. I know we have one of the more competitive prices on the book, but the bookstore just down the street is selling it for 15% less than our price. If you'd like, I can draw you a map of how to get there. With customer service like that, or more accurately, with non-customer service like that, you wonder how this place is still in standing. Although this example may sound somewhat absurd, some businesses have actually adopted this seemingly self-exterminating practice. For instance, take Progressive Auto Insurance, the 3rd largest auto insurance company in the United States. The company has always prided itself on innovations that distinguish it from its competitors, including being the first major insurance company in the world to launch a website in '95. 1 year later, car owners searching for auto insurance rates could use Progressive website not only to learn about Progressive's rates, but also to learn about the rates offered by Progressive's major competitors. Today, the company even features a rate tracker prominently on its homepage, which displays a scrolling information bar listing the various comparisons that recent visitors learned about. Although Progressive clearly has the better rates in many of these instances, this is certainly not always the case. For example, as we write this, within 1 minute of visiting the site, the rate ticker revealed that someone with the initial CM in Wisconsin would save almost $900 per year on insurance for his or her Toyota by choosing a competitor over Progressive. So, are Progressive insuring more customers with this strategy, or is it ensuing its own extinction? The company's enormous growth since it implemented this innovation, an average of 17% per year, with annual premiums growing from $3.4 billion to $14 billion, suggests that it's quite effective at turning potential customers from web browsers into web buyers. Indeed, research conducted by social scientists Valerie Triffs and Gerald Habu also supports Progressive practices. Participants looking to buy books in a simulated online environment reported being more likely to shop from a moderately priced bookstore when the bookseller also provided its competitors, sometimes lower prices. To understand why this strategy is so successful, consider another example. This is pretty interesting. What do you guys think? Nearly half a century ago, the advertising firm of Doyle, Dane, and Bernbach was challenged with one of the most insurmountable tasks of introducing a tiny German automobile to the U.S. market in which only larger domestic cars had previously thrived. Within a short period, the Volkswagen Beetle was transformed from a relatively obscure laughingstock to an extremely popular status symbol. The success of Beetle can be largely attributed to the firm's engineering of one of the greatest ad campaigns in the history of advertising. This certainly, excuse me, this campaign certainly broke with the industry's conventional wisdom at the time. When promoting the brand, they didn't emphasize the product's strengths, such as the fact that it was relatively inexpensive or that it got good gas mileage. So what did they focus on? They touted its weaknesses. These ads focused on the fact that the VW or the Volkswagen was not nearly as pleasing to the eye as the typical American-made cars of the day. For example, ugly is only skin deep, and it will stay uglier longer. When some of the slogans used in the campaign, were some of the slogans used in the campaign, it's easy to understand why these headlines attracted attention, and it's easy to see why the campaign in general was very likable. But these factors alone can't account for a large surge in sales that accompanied the launch and the continuation of the campaign. Why did the types of marketing strategies employed by Progressive and Volkswagen succeed? We're going a little bit longer, and I apologize. I thought it was going to be a stopping point, but it's not. Arguing against self-interest, which can include mentioning a drawback of your arguments, proposals, or products, creates the perception that you and your organization are honest and trustworthy. This puts you in a position to be more persuasive when promoting your genuine strengths. In Progressive's case, the company's strength is that many of its rates are truly superior to its competitors. And in the case of Volkswagen, sure, the Beetle wouldn't win any beauty contest, but its strengths were durability, fuel economy, and price. Similarly, Avis Car Rental, the world's second largest car rental company, took advantage of this principle in the memorable motto, Avis, we're number 2, but we try harder. When you're not number 1, you have to. Other examples include the Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love. Motel 6, our rooms aren't fancy, but our prices aren't. Our rooms aren't fancy, but our prices aren't fancy. Listerine, the taste you hate 3 times a day. Or L'Oreal, we're more expensive, but we're worth it. Boom. And we end right there. I like this one. I hope you guys like that. Again, it's yes. 50 scientifically proven ways to be persuasive. Another book that I will go through. I don't know, I'll go through each 50 of them. So check out, or whatever, do whatever it is, and you'll see it eventually.